WNBA is in shambles. A league that just a few weeks ago was celebrating skyrocketing viewership is now on the brink of total collapse. The moment Caitlin Clark was eliminated, the ratings tanked. Fans are fuming, boycotting, and turning off their TV in droves. What happened? How did the WNBA manage to destroy the very thing that made them relevant? Let me break it down for you. No other player in recent history has brought the level of attention, the excitement, and the sheer fan loyalty that Clark did. The numbers don't lie. This season, the Indiana Fever, Caitlin's team, had a 177,000 average home attendance. That's 10 times the attendance before she showed up. And it wasn't just in Indiana. Wherever Clark played, arenas were packed. Fans followed her, and they followed her only. Now, with Clark out of the playoffs, the WNBA is returning to what it was before, the Forgotten League. Their golden opportunity has been wasted. So, let's dive into this absolute disaster and figure out how the WNBA went from record-breaking ratings to absolute irrelevance in a matter of days. The WNBA saw its highest viewership in history this season. Why? Caitlin Clark, before she entered the league, no one cared. Harsh, maybe. But it's the truth. The WNBA was pulling 1,800 fans per game on average this year. Clark's home attendance alone brought in over 177,000. That's not just an increase, that's a revolution. And now, with her eliminated, fans have made it clear. Without Clark, there's no point in watching. Let's get real. People were not tuning in for the WNBA's other stars. No disrespect to them, but the numbers speak volumes. When Clark was playing, the WNBA playoff game pulled in a record-breaking 1.8 million viewers, competing against the NFL on a Sunday, mind you. NFL, the most popular sport in America, lost viewers to Caitlin Clark. That's the kind of impact she had. And now, what do we see? Viewership for the other playoff games didn't even come close. Combined, the next 3 playoff games couldn't even touch Clark's numbers. The WNBA just lost its main attraction, and they are paying the price. Let's not forget the impact Clark had on merchandise sales. Up by 450% according to Fanatics. Yes, you heard that right, for 150%. When Caitlin played, jerseys flew off the shelves. The excitement was real, the energy was palpable. She brought an entirely new fan base to the WNBA. People who had never even watched women's basketball before were suddenly glued to their screens, following every move Caitlin made. So, what happens now? Well, with Caitlin out, those fans are gone. The WNBA has returned to its old, quiet days. The same WNBA that was struggling to fill seats and capture any kind of meaningful attention is back in full force. And it's not looking good. And don't just take my word for it, look at the numbers. Before Caitlin Clark, viewership for WNBA games averaged around 394,000. Without her in the playoffs, that's where it's headed again. The WNBA had a golden ticket with Caitlin Clark, and they've blown it. What's really shocking is how the WNBA itself handled Caitlin Clark. Instead of celebrating the fact that she brought the league into the spotlight, there were players, coaches, and even league officials who seemed to resent her success. It's mind-blowing, honestly. They had a once-in-a-generation star who was putting them on the map, and instead of rallying around her, they pushed her out. Take the incident with Dejounte Carrington, who hit Clark in the eye. Everyone saw it. It was blatant. It should have been a suspension. Instead, the WNBA gave Carrington the Most Improved Player award. Are you kidding me? What kind of message does that send? Reward the player who took out your star. It's no wonder fans are angry. And Clark didn't just revolutionize the WNBA on the court. She literally changed how the league operates. Before her, players were flying commercial. You remember those stories. WNBA players stuck in airports, dealing with delayed flights, cramped seats, and ridiculous travel schedules. The league didn't care enough to do anything about it. But when Caitlin spoke out, things changed overnight. The WNBA announced they're spending $50 million to allow players to fly private charters. Why? Because Caitlin Clark demanded it. She brought the attention and the fan base, and the league was forced to respond. But now that she's gone, what will happen to those changes? And it's not just the travel accommodations. Clark's impact on team performance is undeniable. The Indiana Fever went from being the worst team in the WNBA to being playoff contenders. That's not a coincidence. Clark turned that team around. She brought excitement, she brought energy, and she brought results. Without her, the Indiana Fever are back to where they were before, irrelevant. Yet, despite all of this, the WNBA didn't protect her. They didn't lift her up. Instead, they allowed her to be targeted on and off the court. Other players were quick to accuse her fans of being hateful or even racist. And now, with Clark out of the playoffs, they'll say, "See, we told you." It was all about her fans, and now that they're gone, the true WNBA is shining through. Well, guess what? No one is buying that. No one cared about the WNBA before Caitlin Clark, and no one is going to care now that she's gone. The numbers don't lie, and the league's failure to support their biggest star will go down as one of the biggest missed opportunities in sports history. Let's be real for a second. The WNBA doesn't have anyone like Caitlin Clark. She's got that edge, that fire. She's the kind of player who makes people want to watch. Whether you love her or hate her, you can't deny her impact. We're talking about a player who set multiple WNBA records in her rookie season. She shattered expectations, points, assists, triple-doubles. She did it all. She drew more fan votes for the All-Star game than anyone in history. Caitlin Clark wasn't just another player. She was the player. So what's left now? What's the WNBA without Caitlin Clark? The cold hard truth is, it's fading fast. The viewership numbers are tanking. The seats are empty. The excitement is gone. And unless the WNBA finds another star with that same kind of draw and fast, they're headed back to irrelevance. In the end, the WNBA had everything going for them, and they blew it. They had the attention of the entire sports world thanks to Caitlin Clark, and instead of building on that momentum, they let her fall by the wayside. And now, they're reaping what they sowed. So, what do you think? Did the WNBA make a huge mistake in how they handled Caitlin Clark? Will the league ever recover from her elimination? Let me know in the comments below.